Well, yeah, welcome to another episode. It's been a while since we've done the last one, hasn't it?
A month. September was the last one.
Has it been a month?
I'm sure it was September.
It's, life's busy,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Very busy.
Very busy. But we've got another guest and one that it's been in the pipeline for a little bit. But thanks for coming on, James.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
It's been, we've looked forward to it.
Yeah.
We've had lots of different people on and lots of different professions, and I mean it's quite a big market, yours, and you've been in it a long time, so it's been great to get you on and have a chat.
18 years now.
18 years.
18 years full time, working or making it a profession, I suppose. I mean, before that, I started when I was about 9 years old. So, but then actually doing it as a job. 18 years now.
18 years. It's a good stint, that.
Yeah, well, it's not bad.
So is it all martial arts, or is it?
Yeah. We've changed a lot. I mean, we were called Evolution, and that was part of it. Is we wanted to. When I first started, kind of in the martial arts, we did karate, Shukukai karate, which is quite a traditional style.
On its own, just nothing else.
Yeah, just that. And then as I got older, you start to see different things and different influences and things like that. And that's what kind of frustrated me about the karate. It was just, this is how we did it, and that's it. Nothing kind of ever changed. So when as I got older and we started Evolution, it was like, I don't want it to be structured. We've got to change, from one year to the next. It's got to kind of develop. Lots of different styles and ways of training were coming out. And you've got to kind of embrace that and keep moving forward. If not, the martial arts is in a decline. If with our black belts, the black belts that are passing today have to be better than when I did my grade, or when the past 10 years ago. If you look at our black belts, we should be making each generation kind of better and better. Yeah,
just like any sport, or it's like you say. But then again, with martial arts, obviously you don't have as much technology involved. Like with football, golf, stuff like that, it evolves with technology, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So martial arts is just because of knowledge, I suppose.
I think we've also, over the last kind of, I suppose as the internet's grown and things like that, we're a lot more open to take new things in and training ideas now. So you can watch somebody wherever in the world, and see somebody training and take that on board now. Where before it was, books. For me, it was just books. Hit about the age of...
That's mad, that.
18,
is that
19.
Is that how you studied it? Yeah, books.
To get more information in. So I started at age 9. And then it wasn't until I was about 17, 18 where I started magazines and just books. That was it, where it maybe seems...
Yeah, but hang on a minute, right? So you want to learn a move, for example.
Yeah.
How would you learn that out of a magazine? Because do you have it's snapshots of each turn and position?
I'm thinking like a comic book.
Yeah. I've got that. It was just page. So you'd get a training book, and it would be just tiny little pictures of this move, next move, and stuff like that. And that's how we... or that's how I got kind of interested in different things, which you wouldn't believe. It's weird, isn't it?
Imagine if you showed like a kid now.
Sound really old now, aren't I?
Well, where's like the women magazines and all that? I was just looking at martial arts.
Those were there. There's plenty of those about.
In the same magazine, probably.
So it was, when you had that kind of thirst for knowledge and you wanted to, find something else, it was, you just had to find magazines or books and stuff like that.
That's meant that, because I actually learnt the other day, obviously it was just new to me, but people sell like video tutorials now.
Yeah.
So like it's quite massive money, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't realise how much, like for example, Jiu-jitsu, or however you say it, sorry. Like they charge a fortune for certain moves, if you like. Subscriptions
now are big, so a lot of gyms will put out, you pay. They're usually not too expensive, but subscription a month, and you get new videos and things like that. Same with all of them. Thai boxing, everything, especially over the last couple of years, where with lockdown, everything went online. And the industry was always there, but that just took it to a new level. Just took it. But if that's your only way, then that's fine. You still can't beat being in a class.
Well, I was just about to say this, like, who are you practicing on your cushion?
Yeah, you like can't pick up. I think they're great. It's a great tool for instructors or people who know what to do. You'll look at something and think, I remember that drill, or I remember that technique, you know, and you get some pointers off it. If you're a complete beginner, you can't learn.
Well, because you don't know if you're doing it right.
No.
Yeah, imagine us just getting like
it'd be like
10
you guys
moves.
learning how to cut hair on a video.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just imagine Ross punching the fuck off his cushions at home.
But we have people
that did in lockdown.
we have people that will come in and say, yeah, I've been watching this on YouTube. How's this move or that move? And there's so much you can, you know, you just miss from, you know, watching a physical sport done. You know, you can't learn it. You can't learn it. And I've been over the years. I've always been really sporty, and you just can't. But a great, you know,
tool.
Yeah. It's good. It's obviously doing it a bit more the old school and just hitting the books. It just showed your passion from the office. Not many people would have done that, would they?
No, I mean, I got to about 18, 19 and then just read everything. Just, as much as I could get. There was a great magazine that's, it's not running now, called Martial Arts Illustrated. And they were really open at bringing different styles in and all sorts of stuff. So you learnt about different instructors from all over the world. They were great, all over the UK and wherever. And that kind of really opened my eyes to it, and just wanted that, like say, that thirst for knowledge. You know, we travelled all over the place to train with different instructors. So that's been, that kind of set it.
It's
kind of sets you off.
Have you read a book, you?
Me?
Yeah.
I read a book. I read a book about orangutan. Book. What's it? Charles Bronson.
Oh right, his autobiography.
Yeah.
Right, it makes sense. You look like him today, actually.
Big tash.
Mustache. Mark, you must be a reader.
No, I'm not a reader.
You're not?
No.
Nothing.
I'm very dyslexic, so I struggle to read it.
What? Are you?
Yeah.
He's mental. He's mental. He literally comes out with something brand new every week.
What do you mean you're dyslexic?
I'm dyslexic.
Oh yeah? Well, why do we not know this?
No, you've never asked.
He's fucking
got to ask the right questions.
I know.
Well, I was dyslexic, or I am, I suppose.
Yeah.
And at school.
So no excuses, Mark.
Yeah. they picked. Yeah. Well, it took me forever to read a book.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say I read books. I'm a really slow reader. I listen to audiobooks now.
I suppose you didn't really have a choice back then, did you?
I didn't. No, that was it.
Yeah. It's rather this or don't learn.
So I had to read, and especially at school, it wasn't anything I was interested in. So reading was, for me, it was pointless. But when it's a subject you want to learn, you make the effort. But now I still read, but not. If I can find it on an audiobook, I'll put it on an audiobook.
So you'd rather do the audiobook than read a book.
And podcasts now, there was never any podcasts out there. None of that was going when we.
Yeah, you didn't have the information at your fingertips like you do now, do you?
No. But I had when I was 14, we got tested, and I had a reading age and spelling age of an 8-year-old.
Right.
So it was really hard to. Well, GCSEs and everything, and that's why sport has always been. I can watch something, and if you tell me something, I'll learn it. I've got no problem learning, but the way
it was just a lot slower to do it reading.
You just look at it. You can read a paragraph, and you'll jumble words up. And even now, anyone knows my newsletters or things I put out in the group chats is there's always something missing or spelt wrong. Words just seem to disappear. Names, nightmare with names.
Yeah, terrible with most words, to be fair.
Yeah, you are terrible. You're terrible with names, like.
Terrible with names. No, spelling names.
Oh yeah.
He meant something else. Yeah.
Fuck my names.
Just because you're brilliant.
I was
memory in general is pretty bad as well. I've always found.
Yeah.
But
it's just because I think them times when you're just staring at the space and you just forget everything, I think you lose quite a bit when you're doing that.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, a lot just.
Most dyslexic are usually quite creative.
Yeah.
So they'll go into some sort of sport or creative kind of.
Well, that's it. But any kind of, for lack of a better word, any kind of weakness is generally made up for in a different department, isn't it?
Yeah.
As you were just saying about someone who was blind that you've just been teaching.
Yes.
So I mean, you were kind of going into it. So I know it's skipping ahead of a few things, but how was that? Obviously, a different challenge.
Yeah, before we get to I think with the martial arts, it's so different. A class like tonight, I start teaching 4-year-olds, and then you end up with the adults. And it's every day is different. I do, as well as our group classes, there's always different things that I do, private lessons, and we've been out taught in schools and for companies and all sorts of things. And yeah, a guy called me up just a couple of days ago and he said, do you teach blind people? Like, I don't know, never done it.
Let's have a go.
Yeah. So he came in, really great guy. And yeah, we did our first kind of session. So he's been blind for a long time, I think he said about 15 years. So he has a good kind of sense of depth, and like you say,
make it up through other senses, and that.
Yeah.
He'll feel like the energies and the movements.
Yeah, and it was great. We got on the pads, we did some bag work, the whole lot.
I tell you what, fair play to him.
I find it mad, just like knowing you're blind. And there's just nowhere, things.
Fuck it, I'm gonna go and do martial arts.
Yeah,
fucking right.
And he said, I said, really nervous about coming in. And I said, the hardest thing for anyone is always stepping through the door and walking in. He got on with it and really upbeat. And I suppose when you're like that, you've got a choice, haven't you? You either take life on and attack it and enjoy it, and whatever it throws at you, you give it a go, or you
give up.
You don't.
Yeah, give up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I tell you what, it's an intimidating first walk in a martial arts class, isn't it? And
I think I forget it because I started as a kid, 9 years old. Mum just said, right, you're going to karate with my brother, and we just set off in. And I think I was listening to your podcast with, I think it was Cameron, when you're talking about doing the session with him, and saying that so a lot of people have an idea of what a martial arts class is going to be about, and usually it's quite wrong. Usually from watching YouTube, Instagram, you've seen some meathead bashing the pads like crazy, which looks great for Instagram, but it's, then suddenly you think, right, I'm going to sign up and walk into a gym. What am I going to meet? And it's, you have, if you go to football practice or some sort of, we already have an idea what that's like, but martial arts classes, you just don't know, do you? You don't know what an average...
Because there is many different ones as well, isn't
what's
there?
it going to be like? Yeah.
I mean, I've been to one of yours as well, and knowing...
You did, didn't you? Yes.
Yeah, I came to one.
Who was it with Cameron then?
Cameron brought me along. I remember I ended up... I trained a bit with Jake Laws when we were in there. I think he mentioned it as well.
Yes, yeah.
I think he's moved away now, but he was there. And then...
Jake Laws, who comes in here as well?
Yeah, he was with James for a while. And
long time.
what's his name? Brandon was there as well.
Oh, yeah.
Cameron's
he stopped by the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was with them.
Yeah.
But as far as I was a bit old at this point. I wasn't as bothered and intimidated, but it was a very welcoming class.
Yeah.
Everyone, it was a good group of people. So, I mean, if anyone is interested in doing it, I would advise. I've always advised yours anyway from that experience, even though I didn't go back. But it's, that's my issue. That's my issue. Yeah.
Great.
But great it was the easiest atmosphere I've felt in a martial arts gym. 100%.
I think I think Luke, who teaches with me full time as well, we've wanted to create that atmosphere. Years ago, like say back when I started, you had boxing gyms, you had wrestling club and stuff like that. Judo was about, but they weren't the most welcoming places. You walk through the door and you usually got the shit beaten out of your first class. Everyone had a bit of a point to prove and stuff like that.
I even remember a taekwondo class when I was like a kid, and I remember just not feeling welcome. Like it wasn't a good atmosphere.
Belly, that's why.
I know, yeah. Well, I didn't listen to instructions either. So.
Well, I think now we're definitely a lot more professional in teaching and how we structure a class. People are taught how to teach. All our instructors with us, they spend a lot of time learning how to teach. Was before if you were any good at it, then you kind of just went and taught it. You never got taught how to put a class together, a lesson plan, how to be with people as well is really important. That's you're providing a service. They're paying your wage, aren't they? So it's not like right, get on with it. You've got to ease them into it. So I've always wanted people to feel comfortable.
It's a crazy thing about martial arts as well, is that you are so easy to approach, and your teaching methods really relaxed and stuff, but you take our heads off.
Yeah,
which is quite a funny thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't look like the most intimidating.
Nah. As far as what you can imagine, do you know what I mean? But
yeah. Well, I know Cameron was talking about that, and like you say, what you see and what you get on the pads, and
he was exactly what he said is people don't realise that this is my profession.
Yeah,
and same with you've done it for 20-30 years, whatever.
We're just 37 years now.
37 years, Jesus Christ. Yeah, at the end of the day, you've done martial arts for 37 years. You know your way about a fight, don't you?
Yeah. People always say, well, would you use, this was a while ago now, but, would you use your your karate or martial arts in a fight? I'm like, well, I don't know any other way to throw a punch.
It's near enough. You've done it for that long. It's almost like walking, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Like just the way you move or whatever. Yeah. Have you ever had to use it in defence or anything like that? Growing up?
Yeah. I've had fights and things like that. Certainly not a lot. Yeah. When we look at self-defense, most of the time you should be getting out the situation.
You're trained to get.
So there's been plenty of times when I've been in situations, and if I'd pushed it, we could have been fighting. Yeah. But most of the time I've managed to get out of it. But at school, college, we had scraps and things like that. Nothing.
I suppose having that behind you makes you calmer in a very in a hostile situation. So it's easier for you to diffuse it. Yeah,
it's really nice to know. The last time I had a physical confrontation was actually here in Darlington.
Shock. One of his pals, was it?
And I had to restrain someone. It wasn't a fist fight, but something got out of hand, and I restrained.
You just put him in sleep rolls.
Yeah,
put
him in a choke. And I didn't knock him out.
No, but, just calmed him down.
Kind of diffused the situation.
Putting him to sleep does that.
Yep. Just stay there. Just calmed him down. But I mean, you're always going to be. There's always going to be fear. Even then watching what was happening and thinking, I'm going to have to step in here. Yeah. I knew I could do it, but you're still shit scared inside. And dealt with the situation. It wasn't like I flew in there and knocked him out and stuff like that. You got to.
Yeah, that's what I'm imagining. Just big high kick.
I'll sort it out. There we go. Superman punch.
Yeah, put him into the wall. The bricks fall off of that.
No, nothing like that. And that's where it all. Self-defense is pretty boring, really. You shouldn't be getting into fights and stuff like that. So it's, but things like that have always kind of happened. And I think, with training, it does give you that, you've got something to fall back on. Yeah. When, situations happening that you know how to fight, and it's good. It's a good feeling.
I bet,
I want that. It was probably a couple of years ago it's probably more than that now. I'd injured my chest. There's a couple of things that had happened. I was a ski instructor years ago, and I broke my sternum, and it was kind of like, and then from training, a lot of injury on my chest, and it kind of came to a head. And I had about probably nearly 6 months of not training. And when it first happened, I was in quite a bad way. I was still teaching, but I was turned into like an 80-year-old man. And I was on my way home, and I'm stood in Tesco's, just a 24-hour Tesco, and there was a bit of some young lads were in there, and it was all starting to kind of kick off. I think one of them had stolen something, and the shopkeeper was doing something, and I'm thinking, if something kicks off now, I can't do anything.
Welcome to our world.
And that's exactly what I thought. And I thought, what if it must be a weird feeling, when something kicks off like that, whether you're just at a Tesco's, you're out on a night out or something like that. And it was almost like my powers had gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking there. Your superpowers
I can't run.
Yeah.
I couldn't help anybody. I can't help myself. I can't protect anybody. It was a weird kind of feeling, and it was the first time I've ever felt really
like a civilian.
A bit insecure and a bit I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. A bit
humbled
weak,
almost.
A bit like shit. Yeah. Never kind of felt like that, and I think that's what we've never been a gym that has focused massively on fighters. Although we've had some great people who've come through the doors and gone on and done all sorts, but it's given people that confidence. If someone comes in we've had people who've just been terrified of going outside and wouldn't go out to a friend's house or out on a night out and stuff like that.
It's sad, that, isn't it?
Yeah, and then they've come and said, look, you've really given me confidence. That to me is just...
That's changed someone's life, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those kind of stories like that are just worth their weight in gold. I don't need to make someone a world champion. If that happens, that's great.
But if you can raise someone's confidence by 10%, then your job's done,
and it's adults, kids. It's we get people who've been bullied, people who are bullying people in there, people of low confidence, people who need it bringing down, checking that ego a bit, stuff like that. You get all sorts in the gym, and we all train together, and hopefully, it kind of sorts.
Yeah, it all goes together.
A lot of people out. Yeah.
In regards to teaching and teachers, was there anyone that was your kind of who taught you at a young age that was?
Yeah, I mean, we've had.
Have you had quite a few?
Loads. I mean, I started off in the karate with my first karate instructor, and there was I had about 4 or 5 at that kind of age, you know, that all kind of taught. We're part of a big association that was in kind of Middlesbrough and Stockton area and Whitby. We had classes in Whitby, so it was kind of karate instructors there. And then, yeah, we've just trained with all sorts of people. I don't know if you guys, you know, people like Rick Young, Eric Paulson, Jeff Thompson, Peter Constantine, who I talk about every now and then. Yeah, just loads of influences, really. No one that is kind of a main influence, you know, and I think that's part of why evolution is like it is. We've drawn from lots of, you know, different people. I spent a lot of time in America, so I was a ski instructor for about 10 years.
Right.
And went over there, and that they were doing we're probably about 20 years behind on how they run the martial arts as a business.
Right.
And that's what kind of inspired me, you know. When I came back, I'd done 10 years. I was about 28 when I kind of came back to the UK. And
so
thought,
you started ski instructor at 28?
No. I started straight out of college. I had about 14. I wanted to be, you know, when they go around the class. Say, what do you want to be? What do you want to be? I was like, I want to be a ski instructor.
So that was your goal.
You want to be a ski instructor, not a skier?
Just a ski instructor.
14, just like that.
Well, actually, it was a ski patrol. There was a video or a film out that came out. You know,
this is a classic. Who the fuck's that weirdo?
Yeah. And I just wanted to be ski instructor. And we lived, you know, in Whitby, and there was no mountains or anything. No one in the family. My granddad skied, but nobody ever did it. It was just something that kind of, I thought, that'd be all right.
Yeah.
You know? I knew I wasn't going to do any good at school.
Yeah.
You know, GCSEs. It wasn't like I wanted to be a.
I bet you thought you were reading something else. You thought you wanted to be a ski instructor.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'd watched it, so I was all right.
I'd
watched it. I hadn't read it, so God knows what I'd have been.
I've never been skiing, me, like not properly.
Brilliant.
I think it's supposed to be one of the best holidays, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great family holiday.
Yeah.
Great. And or just friends. You know, it's a good.
I was thinking more about the piss-ups side.
And that. So yeah, it was something that I wanted to do. I had an uncle that lived in America. He lived at where did he live? Oregon. So which is up in the mountains. So I thought, right, I'll finish college. I did sports at college. You know, what did I do? A long time ago. Sports studies and leisure management. BTEC.
Oh, right.
BTEC,
yeah. Which college did you go to?
Scarborough Tech.
Scarborough
Technical College, which I don't think's there anymore. I think, or it's maybe renamed. I think it's been renamed a few times.
It's a tech. You know what techs are like.
Yeah. So, so did that. He actually moved to Dallas, Texas, which is just flat, no mountains. So by the time I'd finished college, he was, you know, in the worst possible place for me.
Yeah,
hot as hell.
I don't think you can ski in Dallas, can you?
No, definitely not. No. So I went out anyway, and then we went on holiday to where I ended up working. And I said, I went to the ski school. I said, look, how do I get a job here? You know, I was really impressed. The director of skiing skied off the mountain to come and have a chat with me. And at the time, I didn't realise this resort is it's one of the best in the world. It wins #1 in America every time. So it's a, you know, premium kind of resort. And he came down and chatted to me, and I just thought, that was a really nice, you know, for someone at that level to just ski off the mountain, take the time, little kind of British boy just stood at the bottom of the mountain, you know, there was no real.
But then you've had the balls to ask, though, so
that's it.
Maybe that's what got him down.
Up there, and I said, right, how do I do it? And he said, right, come back next year. You know, we do an instructor college every year. Come and try it out, and that was it. You know, I went out next year, worked in a kind of restaurants and stuff till then. Got myself out there, did the instructor college, got the job, realised I didn't have the right visa, had to go and find a lawyer to get the paperwork and everything sorted out. So I had to wait another year, get back out there. And the first year, there was 2 guys that kind of started at the resort who were kind of international, you know, come from somewhere else. And I think when I left, they employed hundreds of people from all over the world. But I was kind of one of the first ones that came in and did it. That was a good time,
was it?
Oh, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. And I think that 10 years working at that resort in America set up kind of how talked to Luke all about it, but just customer service, you know, how we treat people. They were
the extra mile.
Yeah, that's all they talked about. All they talked about. It was the Deer Valley difference. So it was about, you know,
is that what it was called?
Yeah, Deer Valley was the resort. So it was giving that kind of.
I'm thinking the Donny difference of Ted. Do you remember that or not? Nah, his movie reference.
So it was, we just, you know, and they taught us how to teach. So they taught us how to welcome people onto the, you know, to skiing.
The communication
and stuff like
skills
that.
are so much, they're brilliant as well.
Just massively. They were great. They looked after everybody. They looked after the staff. The whole thing was just brilliant. And any restaurant I worked out there, same thing. They just looked after you. You know, customer service over here, we're not.
No, it's massive in America.
Yeah.
It's totally
Huge,
different when you go to
huge.
America. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So 10 years of that just being drummed into me about how to kind of treat them.
You get treated like it sounds a bit weird, but you get treated like it matter. Doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
You know, like you could be going for a coffee and they're just like,
it's
"How's your day?" And you're like, "Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, you."
It's all right.
Like you go like even over there when you say like when you're walking about, I used to say you're all right, and then they'd be like, "Yeah, I'm all right. Are you?" Like imagine you're over here, they don't you don't talk like that.
No.
People don't want to have a conversation with you. Over there, they want to.
Oh yeah,
It's brilliant. Yeah, I do like America, but yeah, it set up the kind of the service that you
and
provide
it also,
still today.
I got to train at different places. So when I was in Dallas, I trained at I suppose it was like full contact karate. But if you imagine,
is that your bread and butter karate then?
That's what I spent most of the time. Well, not anymore, but yeah, that's where I started off. That was kind of the original art. And I found this club that had karate across the door. It's on the middle of a highway. If you imagine just your typical kind of American karate club, big letters, you know, cut out.
Yeah.
Kind of karate on the top, punch bag outside, just on the, we were in Texas, so it was just on the porch, and just, it was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. So I had all these, and anywhere I travelled to, I trained at a different club, just any time.
What, you just found one?
Just
went for it,
place, and trained. And
because then you're meeting the real people of that place as well.
I was really lucky as well. So I trained with a guy called Pat Burleson, who's actually just died like last week. And he was considered the godfather of kind of American karate and stuff like that. So I was really lucky. I moved to Salt Lake City and trained in a Gracie Academy.
Right.
This was before the Gracies were big.
Was that doing jiu-jitsu then?
Jiu-jitsu, in the gi. So I didn't really know, you know, just kind of rocked up, you know, what do you do? Want to do this? It was all groundwork. I knew that. Totally different for me. You know, I'd done everything kind of stood up.
Did that help you, like having a bit of knowledge?
Not really.
It was brand new, yeah.
We only did a few classes where we started stood up, and I was great. Couldn't get me on the ground. You know, I could move, and once I was on the ground, I was done.
Yeah.
But a great eye opener, you know. So it was like, oh, I need to learn this now.
Yeah, to get better.
Why am I getting, you know, choked out every day?
Yeah.
So I was really lucky there, and then just met some really interesting people while I was out there. There was a guy who I skied with, and he knew I trained, and he said, "Oh, James, I've started karate or whatever it was." I said, "Oh, brilliant!" And then next season, it's like, "Oh, I'm this belt." I'm like, "Oh, brilliant!" And then a couple more seasons went by. It's like, "Oh, I'm teaching." I'm like, "Oh, no way!" You know. And then it was like a job for him, and I went down to have a look, and he was doing it full time. You know, it was a full time academy. And I'm like, "Well, this guy has 4 or 5 years experience." At this time, I must have had 15, 16 years of experience. And I'm thinking, well, you know, if he can do it here, surely I can do it kind of back here. And nobody did it back here in the, you know, we're going back, like say, 20 plus years ago when I started talking about it, you know, and you didn't, boxing gyms and things like that were about, but a lot of the time it wasn't their main job. When I told my parents, they were a bit like, really, are you going to, you know, are you going to do it?
Isn't that parents' reaction to anything? You think,
you're going to do it? And there was a company that started up who was still with today, who were there to help kind of martial arts clubs kind of, you know, make a living out of it, and got in touch with them, and they'd only been going about 1.5 years, I think, or something like that, so really small. And so just took kind of what I'd learnt in America and brought it over to here in the UK.
So was that the birth of Evolution then? Yeah. So 18 years, is it?
Yeah. 18 years now.
Crazy. Where did it start?
Started at Carmel School.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
My school. I went
there.
Yeah.
You know, sports hall there.
Yeah.
In there.
Off it.
Yeah. We start. Actually, sorry. the first class we did was in Scotch Corner.
Right.
You know, there's a gym.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Gym round the back there.
Right.
So, first class was there. And then
that's why those Bible bashes are so hard.
Couple of months later, we started at Carmel School. And then about a year later, up in where we are now.
Right, so you've been there a good while then.
Yeah. So crazy.
It's mad then, and I bet the last few years have just flew, have they?
Yeah, just
crazy.
So quick. It's when I say 18 years, I'm still figuring out how to do stuff.
Yeah.
You know, still making mistakes. Still, you know, why aren't we doing this? Why didn't we do this ages ago? You know,
things. I suppose that just kind of cements what I've always thought is things just constantly click into place, don't they? And then you think, why have I not been doing that?
Yeah,
manifest. But then if you don't know what you're supposed to be manifesting, then
I think sometimes you can get very complacent and something works and you just keep going with it, you know. And I think I've never wanted that to kind of happen, you know.
Yeah.
Always aware of that, and I think with lockdown, we had to make a lot of changes, and people really adapted to those changes straight away. You know, sometimes you're quite nervous about you've got something that's working, and you don't want to. You know, I'd been doing it a long time then, and it was kind of working, and I'm like, should I do this? I don't know. You know, you kind of don't want to rock the boat.
Yeah.
And then we have made some changes after lockdown where people have adapted and changed. I guess everybody's a bit used to.
Yeah, but that's it. People have been shook to the core now, so it's like any change is nothing, isn't it?
It's like, right, we'll do it and go. So
I have this with me. It's like I have to slow the change down. I know we've only been going a couple of years now, but like, I mean, Mark knows, and even Jay knows that every now and then I'll just go, right, I need a change, and like I'll need it, and I'll try and rock things up, and I almost need calming down. Do you know, like sometimes it doesn't need changing, but I'm just like my brain just likes to. Once I seem to like things are going steady, it's like I need chaos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You don't want that stagnation of.
No, it's never
stagnation.
That's a good word. That.
Thank you.
And it's something that I've had to learn about.
Lay off it.
Stagnation. Is that even a word?
Spell it. No, I can't spell it. Vocabulary is fantastic.
I use.
You can both do it.
You know when you dictate on the phone.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's.
Do you know what I don't
audio
get?
Messages.
Some people still get words wrong though, so that means the fight against the actual correction.
I'm fighting against mine.
You
fight.
fight
100%.
Yeah. With some slang words, I get it, but like actually just getting spellings wrong when it's trying to spell it right, you have to press cross like 3 times.
Have you ever tried? Imagine like getting a bit of paper now and writing, I don't know, 250 words on a bit of paper. It's fucking hard, mate. Trying to spell normal stuff. Like,
well, I don't write anything as well.
I don't.
I just don't. I do my signature and you know, we used to sign all the certificates for the gradings, but now we've had the digital. It took forever, so you just don't write.
Right, I can't remember the last time I wrote maybe more than 50 words on a
just
bit of
a
paper.
paragraph. You haven't wrote a paragraph.
Nah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't need to. What do I need to write words on a bit of paper for? Got my phone.
You don't.
It's true though. You don't need to.
You don't like birthday card. You're not write a message in them.
Don't buy them.
Yeah.
People's throw them in the bin next day.
Yeah, I don't buy Christmas cards, but I buy.
What's the point?
Definitely not Christmas cards.
Nah.
Yeah.
Mark does the wrapping.
I'll do the wrapping.
No, you make Mark do the wrapping.
Yeah.
Bully.
Don't make, just ask.
We've already been through this.
But no, I always need. Well, not need, but I my brain just craves change. I think.
Yeah. I think it's getting the balance right, though, isn't it? You know,
definitely.
You have
these two are my balance.
You know, we have a system that kind of works, and you can't go too far off it. You know, and I think the martial arts it's always been, punch is a punch, kick's a kick. You know, I'm still doing jab crosses, which I've done for ages, but it's trying to add little bits in and still keep it interesting, but then don't go too far to where you start developing your own crazy stuff and
because you want a bit of tradition in there as well.
You've got to have that. I mean, it's got to still work, hasn't it? And, so it's
how many martial arts
disciplines?
Disciplines. Do you know?
I think.
Okay, let's go with
Let's start with how many you know.
So this started in karate. And then I suppose when I went to America, it was a cross between kind of freestyle karate or full contact karate. so there's point fighting, which I did a lot here in the UK. Then it went to kind of full contact karate.
Did you compete in that? Did you?
Yeah, for years. And then we did jiu-jitsu, and then I did aikido as well, which is Steven Seagal.
Oh, right.
With the sticks.
No,
It's like
but we
it's
did
a
use
bit like Kung Fu in it.
Under Siege. You seen that?
Yeah,
film?
have you seen that? You must have seen that.
Films, mate.
Gary Busey's the man in that as well. I like him in that. It's funny.
We talked to the kids. This is going off on a tangent, but like all the classics of Bloodsport.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't think of anything now. Stage fright.
Well, like Bruce Lee.
Roadhouse.
Is it Red Dragon?
I've seen Roadhouse.
Brilliant
Roadhouse.
film. Yeah,
That's quite a good film,
brilliant film. I grew up with all of those, and Kickboxer, all of those, all the Van Damme films.
There's a little shimmy in it.
I like Steven Seagal. My mum used to watch him.
So
It was that guy with the ponytail.
Very minimal.
oh, my
The
mum
guy with the ponytail.
loves it.
Yeah, little ponytail.
yeah,
Yeah, like that.
yeah. He's made an appearance in not fighting in the UFC, but I think there's some video of him teaching maybe John Jones or something like that.
What's he actually?
Oh yeah, I think I've seen
Does
it.
he actually do that in real life?
He does,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
He's
was
really
his-
good at it. He's really good
He's
at
actually
it.
really good
That's
at
what he
it.
started at.
I didn't
Then
know if he was
then he
just an
became an
actor.
actor. It's like Arnie was a bodybuilder, then an actor.
Yeah.
Then he was in martial
He
arts.
was very good, very well respected.
Because if you look at him, he's a
Mate, have you
fence
seen his
like-
acting?
But
he's not an acting.
No, he's not. I know.
He should have stuck with training. But
Yeah.
I think then he kind of, I don't know, too many people around him saying yes, and he just when you see him now and kind of, I don't know, a bit crazy maybe now, some of the stuff. Yeah, and he's just huge. He's kind of lost himself, I think, a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, all those films, absolutely, grew up with them. I forgot what we were saying now. Now we've
About
gone on to-
tradition.
Yeah, so you're still trying to keep. Yeah, it's just getting that balance between the traditional and then bringing in the new things as well. And I think martial arts it's monotonous. If you're ever going to get good at it or stick at anything, any sport at a high level, the training becomes, I don't want to say boring, but it's repetitive,
work,
isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah, you just keep going over the stuff, again and again. And I think that's one thing that's sometimes a problem with the kids or even the adults. There's so much out there now that people don't give it enough time to get good at it. You're always going to hit a plateau in your training. Usually happens after kind of especially with beginners. For us, most people leave in the first 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
The first day.
That's it, or after the first class. So it's still, because we live in such a society now that things are just changing all the time, aren't they? We can change stuff so quick now.
It's exactly the same with our
Phones,
profession. It's people want things fast, don't they? Yeah, and they don't want to put the work into. They see the end product, but they don't realise what's gone in to get there.
Yeah,
like they don't know you've grafted for 28 years, 18 years, and put all them hours in of the monotonous training to get where you are now. And they just see like, oh, I'll be that.
The sacrifices you do to get to a class or to train is just over the years, you make that effort where now, I don't know, not everybody, we have some great people that train with us, but some just don't kind of get it. It's tough. It's hard
Do you not
work.
feel like the generation coming up are a lot more lazier because of technology?
Yeah,
and
massively.
They could see some stuff on YouTube and think, I can fucking do that at home. I don't need to go to a martial arts gym.
Yeah, definitely. And it's, like saying, most nights we start off with the young kids, and we've definitely seen a change in coordination, balancing skills, things like that in that kind of younger generation,
What, they've got
especially
less.
less,
Right.
massively.
Because
Yeah,
they sat like
Well,
that.
do you not think
people aren't. Parents aren't playing with the kids.
No.
They're not taking them out. They're not chucking a ball at them. They're not roughhousing with them anymore. I always remember a session. We were training in Whitby, and there was we'd stacked up all the kick pads, and you had to run up, dive over it, do a forward roll over it, and the kids are doing it. And every time we got, we put another pad on. If you hit it, you went out. And the last 3 kids that were in, one was my son, and then I think the other 2 or 3 were all kids of dads who train. So all their dads train. I knew them, and the rest were all out. And a lot of it is because we just don't have that play when we're younger anymore. You don't kick a ball, you don't catch a ball. You sit on a phone now, don't you?
Yeah, they go on the iPads early on.
But I remember as a kid, you're out on the streets till the street lights come on. Like
you
drive around the streets now. You drive around all the local estates. there's no kids about. No, you
Yeah.
don't see
Yeah.
any kids in the parks. You don't see any kids anywhere. They just sat home playing Fortnite.
You're smashing
or-
your head off things. You're falling over. You're learning fast.
And they're
aren't
not. And
Yeah.
how we deal with the kids as well has changed a lot. You know,
Too soft.
yeah, too soft.
you? Get
Simple as that.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's getting that. You know, I got beat when I was younger. You know, my dad and granddad beat as in.
Yeah,
you
you
know,
got
you got a slap,
slap
didn't you?
the
There
arse.
was, that,
Big
there was that kind of fear of getting a, you know, getting a smack. Bill Burr. You
Yeah,
know Bill
yeah,
Burr?
yeah, yeah.
Have you seen his skit on when he talks about parenting?
I have seen
from
about him.
yeah.
I will have.
It's great. I'll send it to you. It's brilliant. But yeah, there's not that fear anymore, is
No.
there? The kids are ruling the roost. Some of the kids that come in, yeah, just how they are with parents is just.
Parents
I'm
are probably scared of the
That's
kids.
it. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't dare answer back to my parents.
I got the
Yeah.
bar of
Yeah.
salt, me. Remember, I swore at my dad once.
Yeah.
Give me fucking.
Where'd you get on?
Scrub my
Yeah.
teeth for the bar of
Did
salt.
he?
Yeah, well, I
But
kicked
you
up the arse
did. You
with
could
Rigaboo.
do that now. They'd be
Finally, an
on to
explanation.
Yeah, they'd have it on
be
Instagram.
onto
They'd be
Child
videoing
Line
it like
and-
look
yeah,
at it.
stuff like that, wouldn't they? Yeah. So there isn't that. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's definitely been a shift, and technology's great. I love it. I love all my gadgets and stuff like that. But there's got to be
There's a bad side
you know,
of it as well,
yeah,
isn't there?
there's also it's not always that
I
good.
thought that's why your face lit up when you're seeing all this gear.
Yeah, oh, I
It's
love it
like-
all. Love it all.
You can
Yeah, it's
tell
brilliant.
there's certain people when they come in and they're like, whoa, you
Yeah.
can tell they're a bit of a techie.
Gadgets.
Yeah,
Techie.
yeah.
It's me now.
You're a techie, aren't you?
And I think
I'm the sound man.
my you know, my age, I'm 46 now, so you know, I've gone through that era of not having a phone or anything like that, and then it's all kind of happened, and yeah,
It's
love
good
it
because
all.
you get both worlds.
Yeah,
So
like I say, it was all books, and the
Yeah.
amount of books I've got at home is
all
is
this,
crazy.
you don't take this for granted. It is like
Yeah.
you say, you've got into your photography now, and
Yeah,
like stuff like that is you'll just love it
Yeah.
because you've been group of books,
yeah.
and now you've got this massive lens.
Yeah.
And I mean, was it lockdown that got you into that a bit more, or
Which the photography?
into photography and
no, I've
even
always done it,
videos
really.
and stuff?
I think it. I think with training as well, you know, and what I've done, I've had two kind of careers. You know, skiing was one. Did 10 years of that. Loved it. Got to a high level on that. Really
You do
enjoyed
snowboarding
it.
as well?
No, the resort that I worked at wouldn't allow snowboarding. There was only two in America.
Were they? Because
So-
snowboarders are a bit like, whoa,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
yeah.
It was like
gnarly,
that.
man.
The
It's
resort
not
I
weed,
worked at was people like Spielberg had a house there, George Lucas.
Yeah. Big
I,
time.
the series The Sopranos.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so I would ski with the producer of that.
mental.
He'd fly in on a private jet. He'd have a house on the hill that's probably about 10 million, and you know, we were hired out at like $600 a day. This is going back
Yeah,
a long time ago. God knows what it is now. And there'd be maybe 3-4 instructors with the family. You'd take the kids or whoever wanted to go out and ski that day. Private chef there. So that was the clientele we're skiing with. So it was, you know, when I look back or talk about it now, it's like, wow, that was mental. I skied with, I think I told you a while ago, Evander Holyfield.
I never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was around the time of the Olympics, and I didn't know at the time who I was going to ski with that morning. So you went up kind of halfway to mid mountain, and then I got introduced and said, "Oh, it's Evander Holyfield." I'm like, "Oh fuck!" Yeah. And it was one of the only times when you'd ski with CEOs of Boeing and all sorts of anything big like that, the telephone companies. You know, it was all kind of high flyers and stuff like that, and it never bothered me. And I think that's part of the martial arts, that you know, you have that kind of confidence. And when I knew it was him, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
how do I, you know, because I knew I was working, so I didn't want to be like, you know,
Unprofessional.
you know, like,
I'm
oh my God,
I'm
you
one
know.
of you, you know. I'm a
Yeah.
fighter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was great. I spent a whole day with him. Was when I met him, he had all his ski stuff on, so you couldn't
That's
tell
what I was thinking.
who it
Yeah, you
was.
wouldn't know it was.
So
yeah.
he's just this, you know, just this big unit there, kind of in front of me. I'm like, oh right, it's him. And we skied a bit in the morning. He wasn't a great skier, so
But you didn't tell him.
no, I didn't say that.
You're the best skier I've
You
ever
do
seen in my
really
life.
well.
Yeah, you're amazing. You're amazing. And we went in for a coffee after about an hour and a half or so, and he took his hat off and stuff, and I was like, oh my God, it's him.
Yeah.
And then people would come up and ask. They were all pretty good, but people asking for an autograph and stuff like that. And we just sat, and there was no one else there. No one else with us, just me and him.
Oh, right. It was literally one-on-one class.
One-on-one,
yeah.
So skied for a bit, and then we went to lunch, met his wife and all of that lot. Took a picture. This was before we had phones.
Right,
so I couldn't take a cheeky little selfie with him, something like that. And then skied a bit in the afternoon, and that was it. So
definitely, I mean, stuff like that sets you up for one-on-ones now, doesn't it?
Brilliant.
I mean,
yeah,
brilliant,
not intimidated by you can get through that. I had a class, a lesson booked with Danny DeVito as well, but he never turned up.
Shut up, man.
He never. I was really looking forward to that. It was came up on my schedule. He was meant to fly in from LA either that morning. It's afternoon ski lesson, and unfortunately, flight got delayed, and kind of I missed my
That'd
my
have been
chance
a good.
there.
He'd be like a juggernaut. Him.
Oh, he'd have been brilliant. He'd have been brilliant.
He'd have rolled down.
All sorts of people were out there. Britney Spears skied out there. Yeah, just everybody.
Yeah.
It was really good, and it kind of set up, like I say, for kind of how we wanted martial arts for it to survive. It's got to become a lot more professional. We've got to take it out of that kind of church halls. Not that the church halls are bad, but that kind of mentality of we've got to raise the game, haven't we? It's got to become a lot more professional. So I think that had a big influence in how then kind of started Evolution, how I wanted Evolution to be.
Yeah, you were learning how to treat people at the highest order, weren't you?
Highest kind of level. These guys are flying in on private jets. So they expect a standard and stuff like that.
Treat everyone like that, and they
were great.
Help
they
people.
were, nearly everyone I skied with was brilliant, great time. So then that set it up to kind of bringing it back here really.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, it's a similar kind of thing. I worked in a summer camp teaching golf in Massachusetts.
All right.
And I taught a few things by the end of it, but it was the same. It was like a really upmarket summer camp, and they used to send the kids off for 3 months.
Yeah.
So a lot of them, they basically, even when the parents come to visit, they weren't parents, it was the nannies and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And we had like the producer of Saw's kids and that similar kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it just shows you, I mean, some of the things, like the resorts for skiing and the resorts that they send the kids to, they're just major money.
The same,
yeah.
Same thing.
But yeah, it was a similar kind of thing. Eh?
Yeah.
3 months.
Yeah.
So like it's cool that we have like 6 weeks holidays.
We just don't do it here. We just don't do it here. We do. Yeah. So
it'd be good if we did it here, wouldn't it?
Oh man, like the kids had the best time of their life. Imagine that with just they're not the usual mates, so they only know these mates at camp. So they come for the full summer, and all they do all day is just play endless amounts of sports, eat what they want, do what they want, and just they live on a lake. And we just supervise them.
Why don't we do that here?
I know. It'd be unreal.
Where would we go here, though?
I know.
Lakes?
Could go to the lakes, and then
a week of
all the locals shot us out.
Yeah.
Get rid of these
the
kids
locals
here.
done and the lakes.
Yeah. It's just space, isn't it? I mean, the camp was like a massive forest. Like it was probably half the size of Darlow. It was immense, and I remember we got taught how to deal with bears. So I had a bit of a nightmare. I had a bit of a nightmare.
Like hell.
So I'd been there a few weeks, and what we got taught was, you'll see there was black bears where we were, and what you get taught is you could be walking along one day and you'll see a little baby bear hold onto a tree like that, and it'll just be staring at you, and you'll be like, oh my god, it's the cutest thing ever. But what you need to realise is you might be in between the kid and the mum.
Mummy bear and
So anyway, I'm coming out the dinner hall. I'm just like, I'm not supposed to be on my phone. I'm on my phone like that. And I'm walking down this hill, and this bear stood up about 5 foot off the ground, and it's in this bin.
Taller than you.
Taller than me. I was waiting for a height joke with Daddy DeVito a minute ago. Anyway, I'm walking down, and I'm just like, shit, what do I do? Anyway, the bear lifts its head out the bin, just looks at me like that. So I'm like about 20 feet away. Anyway, and all of a sudden, I see all these like people that were trying to guide the bear away from the kids. Anyway, I'm like, look at my phone, look at the bear, look at my phone like that, and I just fucking leg it. Right, and that's the worst thing you can do, because if the bear charges and there's kids about, like I'm in. I got in trouble. Like I got in big trouble. Yeah, because we'd been trained for that. But because I was on my phone,
you just see the bear and thought,
I just thought, fuck the kids.
Wow,
fuck the kids. I never stopped running.
It's a kind of natural instinct, isn't it? Yeah, it's a hard one to train that, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like walking in the lakes and you see a sheep.
Yeah.
This was a big fucking bear.
Yeah. A little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, just I interrupted you before, but we were on about how you kind of adapted in lockdown and stuff.
Yeah.
But you were already into your videos and stuff before that.
Yeah, so I mean, luckily I've always been into kind of all the tech stuff and things like that. So we put everything online, everything kind of, you know, we filmed, it was crazy. We were so busy filming. We did 3 classes, 3 age groups, and put 2 videos out each week. And I just spent days editing.
Yeah.
You know, days, you know, figuring out how to do stuff, and we'd film stuff in the wrong format and it wouldn't work well, and the lighting wasn't right, sound wasn't great and stuff like that. It was, so
you learn as you go, don't you?
Huge learning curve of things like that. And then, photography, it's always been something I've wanted to, I always think you've got to be, go back to being a beginner at something as well. So I started
Done a bit of that this year.
I started paddleboarding as well about 6-7 years ago. So I was a complete beginner at that. Photography, enjoy that, and just you got to keep your mind active, haven't you? You know, or else it just
definitely. I think, like you say, when you're learning, you're giving yourself targets, and it gives you some get you going, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you were saying you always use the Sonys and that. I think you've always been at your Sonys, haven't you?
Like Sony, yeah.
Yeah. You just fit, like nature and stuff like that when you're out paddleboarding and shit like that. Yeah.
I love all the GoPros and all of that stuff.
You've got your drone, haven't you, as well?
Have you got a drone?
Yeah.
Got that. Actually, I got that.
Follows you and that.
Yeah.
It's a beast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love all the little videos he does on
great.
Instagram, man.
Yeah. So got into that. Really enjoyed.
Have you ever done skiing with it?
No.
No. Right.
I would have. Because we did. We were meant to go skiing, but that all got cancelled
because of lockdown and that.
Yeah.
Because they are cool videos.
Oh,
where they follow the
so
skiers
if
down
you
there.
could get a drone to if you could ski down a slope and then get that, could you get that drone?
You can
You
follow
can get
you.
it
Follow
to-
you. Follows you. Yeah.
The one I have
It's fucking
won't
mint.
track, but the kind of next one up will
So all
track.
it would do would track your signal on your phone or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing I've got, it's the DJI Mini 2, I think it is.
Okay.
And I hit the drone kind of market or, introduction at the right time, because this thing's idiot proof. I mean,
Right.
I've had drones before, when you buy a cheap one and goes up in the air and just disappeared, or in the house and it just rattling around everything, isn't it? This thing, when I first got it, you just set it up and it's hovering.
Steady,
here.
innit?
What? So when you turn it on, does it just go up to a certain height?
Yeah, click a thing and it'll just go up to 1.5 meters and it just hovers.
And then you choose how high it goes.
And Boston Robotics, have you seen that dog that they have?
Yeah, I
And
know
the
what
guy
you mean,
kicks it and it just
can't.
kind of wobbles
Yeah.
and then
Oh,
comes back.
yeah,
Do
yeah.
the same thing with the drone. So you tap it and it just wobbles and then it just hovers there and it's like, this is crazy.
Off it.
And you just, it's all controlled by satellites now. So you go up and it just go up, left, right, turn. It's brilliant. Idiot proof. So that's why I got one.
Sounds a bit of me as well.
It's
good.
great.
It looks good.
It's
It
great.
does.
It is. It's a good, fun. So something like that, I love just something new,
Yeah.
Like say you can, and I think, when you are doing something new, then it takes me back to martial arts and what we're doing at Evolution and bringing new things in, and it just keeps that imagination kind of going. It's
definitely
kind of
something
important.
I've found, especially recently with learning, is you get so much resistance at the beginning.
Yeah.
But the more you throw yourself into
Yeah.
learning situations, you recognise that resistance, and then you're like, oh, I know this. Right, I'll just push on a little bit more, and I'll get there.
Yeah.
But I can tell why a lot of people don't want to learn things because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, you've got to be Jeff Thompson, who's a guy we've trained with. We did a course probably last month where we got everybody together. So we had about 70 adults all together. We got all the gyms together and trained. And I wore his kind of T-shirt, which on the back says, there's no growth in comfort.
Yeah.
And I think when you are training with the martial arts, a lot of people think, oh, well, when's it going to get easy? When do I get good at it? When do I get to the point where I can walk out of a session, think, oh, that was easy? And it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
If it does, if you are walking out, you either haven't done enough, or the instructor's done a really easy class or something. Discomfort is something we want to get used to. You got to embrace it. We grow in it, don't we?
Yeah.
Just doing something like this.
It's
walking
so far
in,
out,
it's
so
like,
far out the comfort zone. This.
It's like, oh, this, just a little bit different. How's it going to go? What are you going to ask me?
Yeah.
I'm sure
We're
it's
all
the same
nervous
thing
wrecks,
for you.
weren't
It's
Well,
like,
yeah. Every time.
I come
especially-
in and sit here. It's like, well, what's he going to say? Is he just going to be like,
Yeah.
oh, that's all right. So it's situations
Some people have
like
actually
this.
done that. As soon as they're on, they just go. They'll be like all loud and that before,
Yeah.
like we get on the microphone, then we get them. yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, all right.
So yeah, anything like that has got to be, yeah, it's fun, and not worried about failing.
Yeah.
You know, we do worry about looking an idiot,
of fail,
or
yeah.
you know, just we're all going to fail at something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's something I'm actually speaking about writing. I write things down a lot, so I do write.
I've seen your
Yeah.
notepads, mate. You start,
I usually write it and then can't read it back.
Yeah.
You know, you write it down. If you leave
as long
it
as
too
it's
long,
gone down there.
he
it's
gets
all
a
right.
book. He starts right in the middle of the book. Like he doesn't start
Yeah.
at page 1, 2, 3.
No, that's just-
he starts on page like 16.
No, but that's just my little I've
Just-
got another book that's a lot neater. That's
you know what
like,
you do? What
that's like
annoys
my
me?
crazy idea book, so it just
Yeah.
needs to
No.
get down.
But it's like open the book normal, page by page,
Yeah.
and then you go to one page, it'll be fucking upside down on the other end of it.
Yeah, I know, but like, what I
Just turn the book.
Sometimes I try and relate pages together. So at the front, I might have had a to-do list. At the back, I might have had something
See,
I wanted to do, like
I
shopping.
used to do that. I mean, years ago, I've still got them, like training manuals, and I'd use the front of the book for one thing, then the back
Yeah,
of the book
that's-
for the
that's
other.
what- that's
then
what I do.
eventually kind of meet
Yeah,
in the...
and then,
it's
and
not
then I'd
that,
write
it's-
something
yeah.
completely different in the middle.
Yeah.
So like I can't.
then there's pictures in the middle of it of, like,
it's
dogs and that.
organised chaos.
There's
Yeah.
pictures of like
Like you flick through it, and there's a dog barking.
The going back to failing, I failed my black belt first time I took it, and I was 14 when I took it, and it was a
Black belt at 14.
It was a great experience though to fail it, you know, and it really all the belts before I wasn't brilliant at all, you know. I was kind of an average student, you know, just 2-3% over what I needed. I did the minimum amount to get kind of the grade, and then I got to my black belt and then failed it. I was like, oh, you know, it was a horrible feeling, you know, really, like, you know,
Yeah.
it was just kicking the nuts.
Yeah.
And then 6 months, you know, I thought, right, I'm not having that again. You know, do not like that. And then trained like crazy. And then, you
So
know,
give you that kick up the arse.
yeah,
like
it did.
sort
It's
of-
what I needed.
It's
and
a
I think
powerful thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could have taken that one or two ways. I could have thought, right, that's it. Don't like it. Don't like that. Spat my dummy out. Kind of like, I'm not doing that again.
so you say 6
Fail
months.
that.
You can only do it.
I had to wait
once
yeah.
every 6 months.
Yeah,
so go back to the queue, won't you?
Everybody's kind of, or clubs and gyms are all kind of different in how they do it. But yeah, you need, if you're going to fail it, I'd say at least a minimum of 6 months. It's probably a bit longer actually. And
So when you're doing a black belt test, what do you get tested on?
well, this is so, and
What's
this is
the main
going back
structure?
to kind of evolution. Yeah, so all my belts that I did in karate were all laid out. So you had a syllabus.
Yeah.
We had 8 different belts, I think, up to the black belt, and everything had, you know, it was all written down. So it was, you did some basic punches, basic blocks, kicks, kata, which were the, you know, the forms, the moves. It's like a group of moves, about usually 60, 70 moves in a pattern.
Off it.
Oh,
Yeah, do you have taekwondo or
I know
something?
what you mean,
Yeah,
I know
you know
what
what I
you
mean. They call them patterns in there. So you had to do that, and every belt, everything was laid out for you. So you kind of, you know, you were learning how to pass. Just that was it. And I had a great instructor, Andy Buckley, who would come in and do the odd grading every now and then. And the syllabus would be laid out on a table in the exam panel there, and he'd just shut the book up. And you were kind of like, oh, this is going to be good. And he didn't want to see what you'd been trying to do for the last 6 months. You know, he just wanted to see what you couldn't do, or, you know, what was kind of, you know, where your weaknesses were. And so you should be strong on that because you've spent the last God knows how long working on it.
Yeah.
So that should be good. And that kind of ethos has kind of gone over into how we do gradings now as well. Going back to my black belt, yeah, it was just set out. You know, I had like 10 different things to do. And you had to perform them all to a certain standard, and that was it.
Well, and they just judged you, said like,
just
no,
judged
you're
you,
good
yeah.
enough for that, you're not good enough for that.
Yeah, and that was it. Which was great, and it worked. You know, it was traditional and it worked, and to a certain extent, we do part of that. There has to be a base, doesn't
Structure
there?
in it,
Has to be. You have to be good at the basics and understand the basics. But then I want to see what you can do under pressure. So when we do our black belt gradings now, we'll do all sorts of stuff. I'll tell them it's on one day, and we'll do it on another day.
So they'll walk in and go, right, you're doing it today.
Yeah, Luke, who's been with me for years, when we did it wasn't his black belt, it was his second dan. We told him it was on one day, and we did it the day before. So we were coming up to Darlington to teach, and I told him it was on the Sunday. We're coming up to Darlington to teach on the Saturday, and he's telling me about what he's doing, and how he's getting ready for it. And we taught the classes in the morning, and then Andy Buckley tipped up outside in the car, and I said to Luke, right, you're doing it now. He's like, oh, shit, kind of haven't eaten right, wasn't ready.
Yeah.
But I know Luke will train for that day and he'll be bang on.
Right.
So I don't want to see him that. That's not what a black belt should be about.
Should be a
when we throw in the self-defense and all that
black
stuff,
belt, yeah.
It's got to be. So we've done all sorts of stuff. We've surprised people with them. We've thrown out, we've asked them to do one thing and then done something completely different.
So they study for something and then you throw something else.
I don't want to see how good you can do. I've told you to do that, So we have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah.
Make it interesting.
It's different, isn't it?
But then they know that now, so they'll keep them on the toes all the time.
Well, we keep changing it up all the time. We did one just recently, and same thing. We told them it was going to be one day, and then they came in for the normal session. I said, right, you're doing it now. So where they think they're going to train for an hour, they end up training for 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
So, it really messes with your head. We've done all sorts of things that you've got to be, and when it comes to self-defense, you've got to be mentally tough as well. It's all right. One of the big things that got me into self-defense, I was a good competitor, competition fighter, karate fighter. Did all of that for years. But when it came to self-defense, he started going to college and things like that. Really, naturally, my karate's no good here. This isn't going to work, and that's what kind of led me down the route of training with Jeff Thompson and the kind of mindset and stuff like that. And all of that stuff then goes into kind of business as well. It's the same, whether it's training for a sport or training or a business, that discomfort is important, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got to take those chances. You've got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. So that whole kind of ethos kind of rolls into everything.
It's good because, like, for example, you're throwing people off on the self-defense, but you don't know when you're going to have to use your self-defense skills. So you don't plan a self-defense.
You can't be like, some guy comes up to mug you and you're like, whoa, hang on.
Yeah, I'm not ready for this.
Let me get my book out.
Stretch a bit. Yeah. Wait, I've just eaten or something like that. I've had situations where they just happen out the blue. You just don't know kind of what's going to happen. And there was a time when I was with, I tell this in the classes all the time. There was a guy, we're in Whitby. You've all been to Whitby, yeah?
Yeah.
On the top there, and it's a lovely place. It was a nice afternoon, and this guy let his dog out the car and just took a shit right where everybody was. He
did, or the dog did?
No, sorry, the dog. Did I say that? Yeah. This is where my dyslexia comes in. Yeah, he took a shit on the cliff top. No, the dog did, and he got back in the car, and I thought, I'm going to call him out on this, And I knew this is where that kind of I knew I was, the right thing to do would be kind of leave, but then conscience and kind of, you've got to call this guy out.
It's that thing where if you left it, you'd beat yourself up a bit.
Bugged me. Yeah, bugged me. I had my son with me and he was only kind of young at the time. And the guy was in a big Range Rover with his kind of missus. They were eating a takeaway pizza in there and tattoos everywhere. So I've already got a bit of a stereotype and a bit of like, not to stereotype anybody, but
trying to work him out.
Yeah, but he proved my point. So I knocked on his window. I said, "Oh, your dog's just taking a shit over there. Are you going to clean it up?" And it just went from, 0 to like, he just told me to fuck off and got out the car, wanted to fight me and stuff. Got
Some
really
people are nice,
aggressive.
aren't they?
Yeah, and I knew I was all right. I knew I could handle myself, and I knew if I needed to get away, I'd be fine. But yeah, that's the kind of mental strength that the martial arts kind of gives you and stuff like that. And I just wanted to prove a point to him. And but he got out the car and he threatened to kind of beat me up and stuff like that. And I was like, nice.
And then you got him in an armbar and put his head in the shit.
Yeah, I'd have loved to have done that. It goes back to kind of like, if I'd have beat him up or we got in a confrontation, the police come, it's like, why are you arguing? Or just arguing over a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So you've got to, we try and teach people. All the fights I've ever seen, somebody could have walked away. And it's probably the same. If you think of all the fights you can see out, most of the time someone could have left, couldn't they? You just like, but you don't want to do it, do you?
Yeah.
You don't want to do it.
Depends.
You go into it, and that's there's plenty.
It's
of
all
times.
down to controlling your emotion, really.
Yeah.
Like you say, there's always a way out. generally, unless you fully get attacked.
Most of the time, someone could just turn around and run or back up and go. Just stop yapping and just let it go. So I've never seen a fight when somebody's had to fight. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, right, if they don't do
they won't
something
agree
now,
with that. But I know what you're saying.
Do you know what I mean? You can kind of get out, but it's your ego that gets bruised, isn't it? And stuff like that. That's
do you do
thing.
the self-defense stuff as well? Like,
is it?
Like,
loads.
Because there was
big part of what we do.
Here then, right? So there's a few things that I got taught a while ago, right? Well, one thing that comes to mind, but I mean, it was to. It's gonna sound rad. You pull on the lip, pull on that lip there,
right?
Because it splits that bit of skin there.
All right,
and that inside, the blood mixes with saliva,
right?
And it just pours out,
right?
So like an intimidation.
I've never heard that.
Say there's a group of people, you just snatch the bottom lip like that,
right?
And it because of how it basically spits out of the mouth, so it's an intimidating thing. Like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing, kind of thing.
You smack him in the mouth.
Well,
I think that lead anyway. I think that pulling people's lips.
How would you even grab someone's
lip?
I was gonna say that'd be really hard to do.
It would be harder than batting them.
Seriously hard to do. Yeah.
This was off like a monk, this. You know?
But
I got this like mind control of this monk.
I wouldn't know what to do if someone grabbed my lip like fucking hell, leave him alone.
But it was always like you have to your stance is like that, so on cameras
fence
it looks like you like get away from me, but that obviously there's loads of moves from holding your hands
so you learn how to stand, you learn how to kind of use the fence. You know, if we're arguing, you know, as soon as I kind of do that, it's like, right, we're fighting. Where I want to be,
like
I want your confidence to go right up, which will drop your guard. So you'll see people posture. You know, it's you know, that's brilliant. I love that, and I'll be just like that. Just leave it. With my hands here, I know I can punch, I can slap you, I can push you, anything like that.
Anything from that position there.
It's all there. So we talk about that, and that's always a really interesting side of the martial arts. And I think trying to, you've got three main areas of training. You've got the sports side, you know, kickboxing, Thai boxing, MMA, you know, you train for a match fight, don't you? Yeah, and then you have the traditional arts, which are maybe Tai Chi, Aikido, you know, that slow moving
inner peace.
Yeah.
Kung Fu Panda, man.
There you go. I was about to say that. Yeah, Kung Fu Panda.
I've seen it.
Man.
So you've got some traditional arts where they'll just train them for tradition. You know, there's no kind of sports that they'll go into or no self-defense. And then you do have the practical martial arts. And the practical martial arts over the last probably about 10 years is, some people have come up with some crazy stuff. Like I say, it's quite boring really, but that's the stuff that works. But you've got to sell it. Martial arts, like we said, is a big industry now. And people have got to keep that kind of interesting and going. And there's a couple of companies in the UK that the stuff they teach is just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, you're giving this, it's like me teaching you the lip move, and sending you out and say, look, if he does that, just pull his lip. You know,
it's my secret weapon. Don't teach everyone.
There's
the lip just goes like that. What are you doing?
Just doing that.
Fuck off.
Yeah, just do that. That would diffuse, wouldn't crazy. I'm going. I'm out of here.
This guy's fucking
great.
Yeah,
this guy's crazy. Fucking leave him alone.
But we,
I'll do mid.
Yeah. Hey, it might work.
I reckon that would diffuse it.
So just think you're crazy and walk away.
Wait. Fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah.
But we've always wanted to kind of send people out, you know, with the truth. You know what is? It's hard. There's no move I can show you that's going to work 100%.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing like that. That's not going to happen. Where a lot of people will say, "Yeah, do this, do that," or they're trying to show a wrist lock that's really hard. That's going to be it now, isn't it?
You fucked him.
We've lost it. We've lost the room.
They're like children, aren't they?
We'll just carry on.
Well, you can use the sheet. You can read off the sheet. Do you know with self-defense, was self-defense classes always about, or is that newish?
It's kind of new. Everybody, I think anybody who teaches a martial art will always say their martial art is the best.
Yeah.
You know, Gracie's are great for that. Say every fight.
Is he still going?
Yeah, he's still going. you know, every fight you got to learn how to ground fight and things like that. And so we all try and kind of sell it in different ways. And I think it's important to kind of, you know.
I'm sorry.
Go on, keep going.
Oh, yeah, get it out.
It's got that image now, hasn't it?
Yeah. Why is jiu-jitsu? How do you say it properly?
Jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Why is that the fastest growing sport in the world now? Then
Is it?
Probably because UFC.
Yeah.
It's got to be on it.
I think the UFC, they've marketed it really well.
it basically goes along with self-help, doesn't it?
They're a great. When I trained at the the whole package is done really well. You know, when you look at the Gracies as a whole and the family and how they've done it, they've done what we all should be doing and elevated to that kind of professional level.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. You know, they're great.
Are you like, what's your level?
What in
Jiu-jitsu?
belts?
Yeah.
Oh well, jiu-jitsu. I studied. I was backwards and forwards always in America, so I'd come back to the UK and then go back out there. So I don't have an official belt in jiu-jitsu. I did it for about 2 years.
Right.
While I was there. You wait quite a long time before you get your first belt, which is a blue belt.
Yeah.
So a little bit different than some other styles. But
you've got a black belt at Evolution now, isn't there? One or two?
Yeah, so we have 6.
Oh, is there?
I'm a 6-dan black. Oh, I'm a 6-dan black belt, and it goes up to 10, I suppose. Really.
No, sorry. You've got some jiu-jitsu educators.
Sorry.
Who are black belts.
Yes,
at
Luke.
Evolution.
So Luke does all of that.
Right.
And that's the 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu,
right?
Which is quite unique in the sense. Oh man, we could talk about this one for ages as well. So that was a no-gi style,
right? So the
Gracies are all in the gi, the pajamas, So they all wear the pajamas, and it was quite interesting how over the years we've watched them kind of evolve and change, you know, where the Gracies were always in the gi and now they train without the gi. You know, it's rash guards and vests. And there's a guy called Eddie Bravo who has the 10 Planet system.
Rash guards, they're basically like Nike Pros, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it's that
tight vest, tight or tightish kind of shorts, so you're not getting anything stuck when you're grappling. And Luke is a black belt with us. There's only a few in the UK. And similar sort of story there. He started off reading, it was a magazine that I used to get, we both used to get it, and he'd seen an article in there, and that got him in touch with it and going with it. And we're really lucky to have 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu here in Darlington. There's only a few in the UK. Luke got his black belt 2 years ago, a year ago, something like that. Yeah.
So who awarded him in that then?
Eddie Bravo went over to LA.
Never.
Fucking hell.
Right.
So brilliant. So that's amazing for us to have here.
Yeah,
that's brilliant. Yeah,
I mean it's massive.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's huge.
Yeah.
And I think, like you say, with technology and things like that's you know, it's been able to keep them together and communicate.
Yeah.
And he's part of a big network of people, and that's
is it
where,
popular in town?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Busy
definitely,
classes and
Jiu-jitsu
stuff.
definitely over the last 5-6 years has got more and more popular. Yeah, it's just getting the whole martial arts in general. I think it's getting it's just going more and more. And I think the big thing is we're all making it a lot more accessible. That's you know, it gone are the days where you'd walk into a gym and you'd have to spar on your first night, and most people who come to us just want to train. They just want to train. They want to hit the pads. They want to do all the drills. They want to learn a bit of self-defense. They want to get fit. Want to feel more confident. You know, that's what probably 90%, probably more than that, want to do.
It's a confidence thing, isn't it? Everyone wants
definitely.
a bit more, walk up the gym with the chest held a bit higher, don't they?
Yeah. And I think as a young adult, it's an intimidating place to go because you have you
got an ego.
You know, you've got an ego and you already have a bit of an idea of how you fight and this and that, and I'd be all right. And suddenly you walk into a gym and you're like, shit. Oh, yeah. Well,
like you heard with Cameron, it was the most... I felt like a 6-year-old child. Yeah. That's all I can... he put me back into being a child. That's all I could think of. Yeah. Like, just by putting a bit of pressure on me. I asked for it. I did ask for it. But, like... Yeah, I've never felt... Because I felt if he wanted to, he could just kill me if he wanted to there. Yeah. Like, simple as that. A few moves, a few bats, I'd be dead. Yeah. And that's what I felt like. And I thought, it was a weird feeling.
Yeah. Back to the bear. Because
it is... Yeah, but I was safer with the bear.
I think everybody needs to... You need to get punched in the face at least once.
Yeah.
You know, you need to have that feeling of getting... If you've never been rattled...
Yeah.
good shot across your head or winded, something like that.
Yeah.
You've got to change your perspective on
absolutely.
life.
It firstly makes you a bit more it knocks your ego out a bit.
Yeah.
But then it makes you feel like, I'm not actually made of plastic. I'm not made of glass either. Yeah, plastic's all right.
Yeah, but if you're fucking big I am and you get a big fucking slap on the face, knocks you down a couple of pegs.
Cameron was great to spar with when he trained with us. I mean, he was always just fun to spar with, and like say you never, no ego.
Yeah.
We had some cracking times. I think it must have been about 14 when he started with us, and just really fun. Really, would try anything. Just give it a go, and he'd fail at this and that, and loved his sweeps, and we had some great spars together, and it was good.
Yeah, he takes a mick out of himself, Cameron, doesn't he?
Exactly.
He's not bothered. Yeah.
And but he trains all the time. He's in there all the time. No matter, when he was in Portsmouth, he'd drive all the way up, get to Darlington, straight into the sparring class on a Friday night, and then he would be off out after it. And
you obviously have a decent relationship, don't you? Because he always comes back to see you, doesn't he?
Yeah. It's great. I have a lot of time for Cameron. Yeah.
He's a good guy, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's a very good guy.
Good guy.
Yeah, I hope things get a bit better for him.
Yeah, I hope
he's
so.
Had a bit of a shit
he's had
time,
a bit of
he'll get there.
Tough luck with stuff, hasn't he? And bad thing. Nothing that.
It's just like anything, you need a bit of that luck, don't you? And I mean, obviously Callum, who was on the other week, he's in his big step now. He hasn't had the luck of the draw. Like, for example, when you play a competition in golf, if you tee off in the morning and there's no wind, but you might go off later on and the wind's mental.
Exactly.
He's getting this bad side of the draw and stuff like that. But like you say, makes you stronger, doesn't it? When you go through them little times. Cameron's going to bounce back from all this, and it'll be like it never happened.
And I think he's, the martial arts creates, the whole, everyone in there, we're all hopefully upbeat and positive, so you are around people that'll, and that's why I like it, you're around people that'll push you. It's like saying, there's always two ways to view things, isn't there? You can either be massively negative or massively positive about stuff, and I think that's, it's always, wherever I've trained and been to, it's the same type of mentality which I really enjoy. That they'll,
for a working environment for you, it's not a bad one, is it?
No.
Because at the end of the day, everyone comes to gain a bit of confidence or whatever. So when you get people that have been coming for years and stuff, you're just bouncing this high positive energy off each other.
They're all, it's good. And you're all there to help and to bring lift each other up.
In a pure way though as well, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes people don't like looking at other people's success.
Yeah.
Where if someone's succeeding, it's great. Love it.
I'm guessing. So when people are getting the belts and that, is it? Does everyone watch each other, or is it more?
Not all the time. No. It's most of the time. It's not that we kind of close it off, but it's parent. If it's kids, it's parents in there, or adults sometimes. Husbands, wives, things like that. Friends will come and watch, but a lot of the time we don't kind of open it up to everyone. But it's it's a great. For me, giving someone a black belt is, the last black belt we did, we do a junior black belt, so anybody under 18 gets a, what we call a junior black belt. And all those kids on the last one, some of them have been training 8-10 years with us. I've known them since they were.
Yeah, that's meant. Hence why Cameron's got a good relationship with you. He did a few years.
My martial arts instructor was probably one of my biggest influences in my life, because I saw him, twice a week, every week for, all the way up to 18, 19 years old before I kind of moved away. So you're, and that's what I like, is you see these kids. We've got kids now who've coming back with their kids. Yeah. It makes me feel really old.
No, there is this, it's a quite a strong relationship with whoever teaches you martial arts, isn't it? I mean, I did a short stint. I can't remember how long I did. I might have done nearly a year. Paul Pearson. Yeah. So I was with him, and I only did it twice a week or something. Yeah. But I went through quite a raj time of my life when I was doing it, and I remember he was actually one of the people that listened to me about certain things. Yeah. And just that them one-on-ones that you spend with someone, and he's teaching you, he's making you feel better, he's listening. I suppose a bit like we do in here, we listen to people and stuff like that. But it's a very pure, strong relationship. And I think obviously you've got that with fucking
fighting
hundreds.
As well is very primal, so it strips away everything. There's no we have all walks of life that train with us. different backgrounds, everything. But when you're in the gym, there's only you and a pair of
like
gloves.
you say, when you strip that ego, what's left is
you
the
can't
actual
hide.
person.
You can't hide.
Yeah.
So you've got to be vulnerable. You've got to put yourself in positions that are uncomfortable. It's the only way you're going to grow in it.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing like finishing a good sparring session and
we all going this week.
Yeah,
I feel a bit geared up.
Yeah. It's great. Yeah, friends for life. You know, it's great. Yeah, you know, Cameron and I have battered hell out of each other for years. You know, once he started beating me, then I can't now.
I'm busy that night.
Yeah, busy. But yeah, it does. You put yourself under that pressure situation, and it can't help kind of develop that bond.
Yeah,
definitely.
So have you got a few gyms?
We've got 4. So Darlington. Darlington's a full-time place, so that's our main full-time place, and then we have teach classes in Whitby, Gisborough, and then Scotch Corner.
Right. Yeah. So busy then.
Yeah. So it's crazy, really. Never had really an end goal. You know, never thought, right, I've got to get to so many gyms or X amount of students or anything like that. I've got a guy, Joe Ted, who is teaching now, and we want to try and get him up to full time. So it's trying to get more people in and more classes on for him to grow. But I've never been somebody who wants, right, I've got to have, you know, I want to take over the world with it. You know, I enjoy what I do. It's never been kind of money driven. You know, as long as I've got enough money to kind of live and do what I enjoy. I don't think anybody goes into anything like that for the money. You know, although there are a few people who start to kind of push it a bit.
Well, like you say,
like
it's very, what was the word you used that martial art is? It's kind of primal, if you like. So it does strip away all that stuff. So it probably does make the kind of motivation a bit more pure.
You've got to be true to yourself and what we teach. That's really important. You know, we never wanted to kind of bullshit anybody about what we do and things like that. Keep it simple but try and give people the best service when they come in. Yeah, it's changed, or I don't know what my life would be if I didn't train in the martial arts. And I think anybody who's trained in it for a long time, there's a great guy who said about if you could, if I could give you money, what price would you put on your black belt? You know, so if you've gone through that experience of training and the people you've trained with, all those ups, highs and lows of training and get into that belt, what would you put the cost on to take all that away? You know, could I give you an X amount of money? You could. I wouldn't trade what I've had for all the money in the world. You know, I think most people who've trained a long time in the martial arts would not take that back. You know, you just would not give that.
I bet even thinking about it feels a bit like get off it.
It's like, weird if I thought I'd never gone down that kind of path of doing it. And I think it's hard to explain to somebody who hasn't trained for a long period of time. Anybody who's gone, you know, there's different styles. There's always different levels of what a black belt is, you know, and where it starts. And so whatever, you know, you've achieved, whatever level in whatever style you're doing, we all come to the same conclusion about it, you know, about martial arts. And it's quite hard to say to somebody who's a complete beginner how good it is unless you're in there training with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get it.
It's kind of a...
And I mean, you've done it for this long. Has there been times when you kind of haven't practiced as much and you've noticed a change in the way you think or your head?
Yeah, I think, definitely.
So like when you're on it, I bet things are a lot more clear.
Yeah, I've actually only had... longest stint was probably about 6 months off. Injured, but I was still in and around it. There was one ski season where I didn't train the whole time, just through logistics and where I was, and that's about it. But I was still, even though I wasn't training martial, I was skiing every day, and it was still sport. So I think sport's always kind of key. You know, you're pushing. You know, still doing something kind of sporty. So yeah, I haven't really experienced that. Lockdown was, I missed the people. I missed being in a class. Yeah. So even though we're training, we're doing lots of things at home and putting things online and talking about training all the time. But I really felt that it wasn't a nice experience. I think you worried about we were worried about the future, weren't we? Worried about
the unknown
what
was
was
crazy,
on.
wasn't it?
So that stress was definitely there. That wasn't a nice experience.
Is that probably the most stressed you'd been in your career?
Probably. I think I'm quite good with stress. I tend to just
because you leave all your stress when in your workouts. It gets flushed out of you.
I don't mind it. I think sometimes I like a bit of pressure. Luke, who teaches with me, we've always done. I remember doing a demonstration years ago at the in Whitby at the Metropole, and it was full, hundreds of people there, and there's just me and Luke. There's a few other different clubs, and we were all going on to do our little demonstration. And Luke's like, "What we're doing?" I'm like, I don't know yet. And I said, "Just get warmed up, and we're out the back in like an alleyway. We're stretching it, and I'd be like, Luke, just try and stab me with this knife, and I'd be like, yeah, okay, that. Because James, what we're doing? I'm like, I've no idea yet. Just let me, and I leave it. There's no reason why we couldn't have been working on something for ages before, but sometimes just jumping in and going for it. It was great. We did I think we did all right.
Yeah. You might have been able to do better.
Luke was like, for God's sakes, So I don't mind that kind of pressure, But I think it was just the unknown, wasn't it, with the lockdown that really. Yeah. It was like, shit. Where are we going to go with this?
You found the positives in it though, and.
Yeah, definitely. We did a lot of things that we wouldn't have done. We really looked at our training and what we were doing. We had time to kind of sit and think
reset,
about it. So we definitely made the most of it. Yeah, we didn't kind of sit back. We always put something out there and keeping. We had great feedback from people who really needed that routine and something to kind of, log on to every night or whatever it was,
Well, I watched a few, to be fair.
Just a friendly face and stuff like that. And people's motivation really went up and down through it. We had people that were with us the whole time, and then people that were just, kind of clicked off. And most people got back. Yeah. They've come back in, taken a while to get back going.
Do you know, I bet, without sounding too deep as well, just with what you do and the environment that you provide, I bet there's been some lives saved, I reckon. Yeah. With what you have done.
Yeah. I think it's something that we don't always. I've never been one for massive self-promotion and look at this, look at that, and we get emails and messages from people who've really just this has turned me around, or I've never felt so good, confidence. And we had I did put this one on. Well, I was tagged in it on Facebook, and it was a parent whose son had gone off to university, and then had a situation, as you tend to find when you're at college and uni, and
and you're left to fend for yourself.
And he did. It's exactly what he had to do. Some guy came up to him. I can't remember exactly what happened, but he basically punched him and sorted it out. Didn't go any further. He controlled it really well, but he had to get physical. And his mum just sent a message saying, this is why we came to you. And he trained with us for 10, 11, 12 years. And that to me is, that's gold. That's what, I don't need someone to become a world champion. That
knowing that you've give some parents kind of safety. Yeah, knowing that their kid can go off to uni. And
a girl who trained with us since she was 4, and when she left and went to uni, her dad came in and talked to me and just said how grateful he was. And she's a young girl, she'll be 16, 17, going off to uni. Man, she can kick and punch. Yeah, if I had a daughter, I have a son who's 14. I know he can kick and punch, but that's what I want. She's been in that gym full of men, sparred with the men, holds her own with all of that lot, and that's what I want. So if she gets in she knows she's been put in headlocks, she's been chucked on the ground, she's punched, she's kicked, she's done all of that stuff. So if it ever happens, she's done it, she's been there, she's experienced. So I think anybody at that, one guy who always pushes it, you learn to swim and you learn to do martial arts. Those are your two things. They're life skills. They'll set you up. You don't need to be a world champion. You don't need to be jumping a cage or something like that. But find a good club and experience that. Yeah,
it's a very strong message, and I think if anyone's thinking about it, I think it's the perfect analogy, if you like. It's life skills.
Yeah.
It's confidence.
We
it's
talked
safety.
to the kids about all sort of fire safety. This last week, we're telling them all about fireworks and stuff like that. And we do next week. It's anti-bullying week, so we'll talk all about that in the classes.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. It's the kids are crazy. They're just. I love teaching them.
Do you not think there should be more of like what you do in schools?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It started off in school.
Why do you think it's drifted away?
I don't know. I can't answer that one really. It's.
I think it definitely helps.
I think it's.
I'd rather do that than high jump.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
fucking
Fuck it.
1,500 meters.
Yeah. get me in the martial arts class.
What good's that going to teach you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've been to a lot of schools as well and taught classes, and it's been great. It's always well received. I just don't think we have the funding.
Yeah.
When you go over to Italy and France, the government funds their karate teams and stuff like that.
Yeah, look at all
It's
Americans. They all do
massively-
wrestling and that, man. Wrestling.
Yeah.
If you're a wrestler, you rock
brilliant.
hard.
Brilliant.
No one's getting near you.
Well, you hear all those guys, and then they're in the UFC, and it's like, they college wrestlers.
Wrestlers, yeah.
And you're
They're
like,
all monsters.
yeah, done it from a young
So they
age.
do it, don't
And it's that, like I say, it takes you back to that kind of primal, wrestling on the mat, brilliant.
Yeah.
You can't hide there, can you?
No.
It teaches you a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
Where you are and yeah.
There'd be less fights outside of class.
Yeah.
Definitely if you were doing
100%.
that. Wouldn't you? Imagine you lot,
100%.
though. Imagine you lot, martial arts and respawn.
Yeah, but stop it, wouldn't it?
Oh, I taught one school in Darlington. I've forgotten the name of it. Can I mention it?
Yeah.
If I could remember it. Give me a couple of rough schools.
Eastbourne, Hummer's not Branksome.
Yeah. What do they call it now, though?
No, it's called
St. Aidan's.
Wyvern.
Wyvern Academy.
Or is that same as
That's Branksome,
Yeah.
Is that the same one?
Yeah.
And I've gone into schools for years, taught, self-defense, and I've done it for, we've taught movement drills to classes. Everybody wants something different. So sometimes we'll do, some schools they don't want us to teach kids to fight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, yeah, but the end goal is that you don't fight.
That's it.
Anybody
It's
I
like
know that really fights doesn't get in. I'm not going to fight some idiot out on a Friday night because he's looked at my girlfriend.
No one wants
something
to.
like that.
No one wants to flick the switch to then say, right, well, I'm fighting in school.
I'll just flick his lips.
Yeah. Don't start.
Oh, good man, fucking hell.
So
anyone doesn't need to know anything about martial arts. Just
there you go. It's going to be the move. It'll be in the syllabus next week.
Yeah.
I
I learned this thing on the Super Rogue podcast. If you just come here, try and stab me.
It's Thursday night. We teach self-defense. It'll be in there. It'll be in there.
Yeah. Get it.
So the school, I've been in schools all over the place, and taught them special needs schools and kids with kind of anger issues and stuff like that. And Wyvern was just
mental.
We got threatened with Branksome.
I had to stop the class. I've never stopped a class before. I said they weren't rude to me, but how they talk to each other in the class, I've just never seen kids like it.
Just going off on each
just
other.
So disrespectful to each other. And the teachers.
Yeah.
Oh,
They've give up then
just
probably.
Swearing at them. I said, right guys, just sit down. And I turned to the teacher and I said, I'm not doing it anymore. And she said, well, do you need, and I said, no, I'm not teaching this group. They're horrible.
Feral.
I said, yeah. I said, I can't do it. I've never had a class like this.
Yeah.
And the head
mad mistress I think it was the headmistress came over and just absolutely bollocked them and then said, well, we believe in second chances. Would you give them a second chance, James? And in my head, I was like, it is the right thing to do, but I really don't want to do it. And I did do it, but I was like, I'm not going back there again.
Do you know, like, what they have for angry kids? They just have, like, they get this card now, don't they? And they get to just go and sit in a room. And they get looked after. Imagine if they were all getting taught Tai Chi in the room.
Yeah, we just had isolation. They just put all the naughty kids in one classroom.
Yeah.
What's the point?
I got caned at school.
Yeah.
Got the blackboard rubber chucked at me across the class, all of that stuff. And it kind of goes back to that. There's a definite shift and a change in how we deal with kids. And it's
I mean, think about this actually. You must have been in isolation a few times.
Yeah.
Isolation by yourself all day with just your thought.
It
was torture.
You sat
no
in
wonder you turned
sat in
like a lunatic.
You sat in a room. There was about maybe like 9 tables in there.
Yeah.
Just sat looking at someone. You fucking write lines, mate.
Well,
Some of it is.
We had an isolation room where it was just a window and just a little room, so people could like look in and that. And you just sat there like that by yourself.
Yeah, it's what I was like. You could see the full.
I'd rather
play.
get it.
Yeah.
You could see the full playground where I was though. In Eastbourne, it was like
So you could see everyone playing.
Everyone used to have like the football thing. But you couldn't go out. You just sat to watch him play football.
But does it help as well? Does it? You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
does it fuck?
You know,
Yeah.
it's like,
Nah.
yeah.
Does
So
it
we
help?
just there's a whole generation that's coming up that's just I don't know.
Yeah. Soft.
They're not all
Lost.
like that, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, martial arts
It's
should
a
be in
worry.
schools.
Yeah, I think
Getting
so.
a petition
Definitely.
started.
Definitely, and we've tried, you know, and there are some teachers that actually the mum who posted the comment about her son, it was her husband that got me into one of the schools, and I had about 9 weeks with these kids. It was about 5 or 6 kids who all had kind of anger issues and whatever else. There was different things going in their life, and it was brilliant. It was great. You know, I don't know what's happened to them now. I'd like to think I was a positive influence.
Yeah,
and,
I'm sure you were for that time.
Yeah, and
Hopefully
a
they've
lot
carried it
of
on.
kids we get don't have a male influence as well. So we get a lot of parents that bring kids to us for a strong male influence in their life, which is really important. You know, they miss out kind of on that kind of, I won't say a father figure, but that, you know, men and
The
women
enforcer,
are different.
if you
Yeah,
like.
men and women
Yeah.
are different. We're just, you know, different how we, you know, treat our kids. And yeah, so it's, I don't know, the teachers don't have a lot of influence at school anymore, do they?
Nah.
It's, I feel, it's a tough job.
Yeah.
Really tough job.
Definitely, because
Yeah.
it's like they're so clever as well with the words now,
Yeah.
kids, because of all the iPads and everything.
They
Like,
know.
they know more than us.
Yeah.
So like you try and tell them something, and
Yeah.
they'll tell you you're wrong. You're like, right, what am I supposed to do now?
Just so
Sure.
cheeky, some of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, cheated.
yeah.
You
Get
can't, yeah, can't do it.
Bash.
But yeah, hopefully it gives them something to, you know, like say these kids that have trained with us 8 to 10 years, that's a massive achievement for them to stick something out for that long.
Yeah.
You know, to get to black belt is huge, you know, for them.
And like you say, so many life lessons
Yeah.
in them 8 years
Yeah.
about struggle, but then getting rewarded.
Some of them have stopped, some of them have, you know, then come back and they've had injuries and this and that, and they've just kept going the whole time. You know, they've come back and then they, you know, and a lot of people will, you know, people we talk to years later say, yeah, the best thing I ever did was get my black belt.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, and I think the thing with the black belt, a lot of people look at it as an end point, and it's a beginning point. So the word black belt in Japanese is shodan. So sho means beginning. So it's a beginning level when you get it.
Right.
So it's not an end.
So you've just begun.
You've just begun.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've always tried to, you know, a lot of the time people sell the black belt as
The
that's
end.
it, the end
Yeah.
goal. Well, I got my black belt 30 odd plus years ago.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, I've still been doing stuff after it. So we've tried to, it's not a sprint, it's not a marathon, it's just, you know, it's
That's like
you
something
just
I
do
always
for-
think is like pushing the ceiling. So the black belt's the ceiling, but then
Yeah.
push straight through it. You're just the beginning.
It's
New
like,
house.
like passing your driving test.
Yeah.
And then never, you know, you get your black belt. If you stop training, it's like just never taking a car out.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you don't, anybody who's passed the driving test, you don't really know how to drive, do you?
No.
You know,
Still can't drive now.
you know, you that's it, you know, and you let loose on the road. That's kind of like, you know, you've got that kind of map, that road map of what martial arts is now. You know, you can pass the black belt, you know, now let's see what you can do with it. You
Yeah.
know, I'm always, it's a great disappointment when someone gets to their black belt and then just stops training. Like, you've just
I
got
bet there's
it.
few done it, have they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Loads.
I've got my black
Loads.
belt. I can
Yeah.
go to
then
the
they
pub and say I've got my black
and
belt.
I think it's something we put up there so high that they get it. And then it's almost like, I haven't got superpowers. I'm not this. And you get back into the gym and you're just training again.
Yeah.
And a lot of people can't deal with that.
Right, I get you.
Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like a massive,
I'm a
like,
black belt now, and then you go back in and
anticlimax.
it's like nothing's changed.
A lot of people
Yeah.
say it's a heavy belt to be at. You know, it's like, well, what happens now? And it's like, no, you just carry on now. You just keep training.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't. You've put it in your mind for so long that that's the belt you want. You know, and yeah, you get it, and then you realise
That's it.
it's kind of
Yeah.
getting to the top
Yeah.
of Everest, and then, you know, you look, oh, there's another
Yeah, there's a
mountain there.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's that pinnacle, isn't it? That
But then,
you-
it's about refocusing, I suppose,
Yeah.
and keeping going. But
Yeah.
it's exactly like
And I
when
think
you
that-
hit any target in life.
I was
Yeah.
going to, yeah, exactly. It's, you know, you get to where you want to be, and then, you know, you've got to keep pushing, haven't you?
Yeah.
You know, or change slightly, or, find something else to kind of focus on. Or
100%. And I mean, so in regards to people that, if anyone's listening and want to come, how do you go about it?
Just head to the website. There's a link on there, free trial. Everyone gets the first month for free. Come down, try it out.
There you go. You get a month for free, yeah.
Which I think some people are like, you give a month away free, and I'm like, well,
you've said it's not about the money.
I want them to be there forever.
Yeah.
So if it needs a month for them to try it out, have a month.
Yeah.
You know, some people say, well, we only give the first lesson away for free. I'm like, just, you know, I don't want people that are going to come in, train a couple of months, or they call it gym hopping, or a day, a lesson.
I'll learn one thing.
You know, I want people there for, you know, forever.
Yeah.
You know, sign up, you're not allowed to leave. That's it. You know, I know those benefits. They're going to hopefully turn around and, you know, thank me one day and say, yeah, just, you know, that's great. I know it'll work if they give me enough time.
I mean, you've said that money isn't your motivation. Your motivation is them little eureka moments that when people might not that you need the feedback, but when they do get back to you and show and they show you what you've done for them. Yeah. They're your little moments. So giving someone a month free in return that you know what you're trying to do for them is the right thing or will help them. Yeah. That's your motivation. So.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. We've got I don't know exactly how many, but we've got people who've been with us 10, 15, nearly 15 years.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people like that. My goal was always I wanted 100 black belts training.
Right.
Which we're not there, but
that's your target.
We've given out well over 100 black belts over the time, but I'd love to have 100 black belts actively kind of training with us. That would be would be great.
You got any crazy characters that come down and train?
Loads.
Have you?
The martial arts.
Full of crazy people.
Yeah. Great. Like I say, all walks of life.
Yeah.
Professional people and just everybody. Everybody's in there.
Which,
different trades.
Makes every day.
And, it's a great mix of people: artists, bricklayers, roofers. You know, people, CEOs of companies. You know, you got a whole.
An artist fighting a roofer.
Exactly.
Like that,
everybody. It's just So it's good. In our adult classes, you've got the young kids who are kind of 14, 15, like where Cam started, you know, fighting with people who've been there for different age groups, you know, and it's just that big melting pot of it's great. Yeah. You know, and I love hanging around with the different people in there. You know, like say start my night training with the little ninjas, 4 to 6 year olds, then you're finishing with all the, you know, the older guys at the end of the night. Yeah. Plenty of females in there as well. It's not all just guys.
Yeah, so it's for everyone.
Yeah, it's a good mix of people. Yeah. Really, like you guys as well, you know, you just get, I guess, just everybody in here, don't
different
you?
walks of life.
Yeah.
So every haircut you do, you've got a different.
Yeah, like you say, we could have I don't know, a student, a business owner, and then an MMA fighter. Yeah. All sat and we all have crack, and everyone when they walk through the door is here for the same reason. Yeah, which is the same as you. So it strips you of who you are and what you're about. Yeah. Because they're here to get a haircut and a bit of crack. Yeah. They're here to train martial arts for you. It's a common interest, and we all get together, and we all no one. Yeah, there's no one's really a dickhead because everyone's there for the same reason.
I think, and having honest conversations is really important. You know, where you're at, what you want. You know, that's I think, you know, we don't have a lot of people we have people that come in with crazy ideas or crazy things about where they're at. That gets stripped away pretty quick. Yeah. You realise where you are and what you want, and I think that's really important. You know, you've got to be honest what you want out of your training, and, you know, honest with your training partner, who you're with. You know, you can't hide in there when you're in that kind of room. Yeah. You know, training. So that's important.
It's nice, it's mint, and I hope if there's anyone listening and they think that they've been wondering about doing it or what it's like to come and do martial arts, I hope that they see the benefits and they see how approachable you are as well. I think, like, you're obviously the main reason that, well, I know you don't like to blow your own trumpet, but you're the main reason that it's succeeded for this long. And you've given us an insight into how you've got there, why you've got there, the service you provide, and where it's come from with America and stuff like that. And I hope people really get a nice message from you because, well, we have. I know that. And like, I like to. A lot of my motivations come from different parts of the world to what we provide. So it was nice to hear that yours have come a similar path, and people don't know that.
Yeah.
And we didn't know that, so it's brilliant. It's not just something you thought up living round here. It comes from world travel.
Yeah, it's that melting pot you get from all the different experiences of people, and then bringing it back in, isn't it?
And you've put it back in, and you've developed it, and it's evolved.
Yeah.
But no, it's brilliant, and it's again you're a credit to this area, and we just wish you the luck, and we hope you get 100 black belts soon.
Well, we've got 3 potentials.
Well,
here,
well, if you want me to do a video tutorial of the lip move, I can.
Guest instructor one night.
Yeah, we can.
We'll set it up. That would be brilliant. Yeah.
Walk in the room.
It would be great.
Yeah. Right, James.
2 minutes.
James, pretend you're in a group of 10 people and just come at me.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah. There's a great Instagram page called McDojo.
Right.
And they have these people who, a lot of them are old videos, but it's people teaching, for a better word, bullshit martial arts. You know, they're just, it's amazing what people will believe.
Oh, right, to see if they'll just do it.
I'll send you the link to it. And it's just the crazy kind of stuff that is out there in the martial arts world that, you know, somebody said and they believe. It's, we'll have to get you on. Yeah,
we'll do it. We could even, like all these daft masks that everyone make, we can use that as the lip, so you can rip that off.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
No, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you taking the time.
Great. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, lads.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully we've inspired people to just embrace that.
I'm sure we have. Yeah,
discomfort,
I'm sure you have.
You know, it's good.
Definitely. Live in discomfort and you will grow. Right, thanks guys. See you later.